Hey guys, welcome to the channel. You're watching the Art Occultist and I'm your host Elisa. I'm so happy to have you here today with me. Today we are doing another episode of the Tea with the Goddess series here on the channel. And if you're new here, you haven't seen any of my other videos, or you are not familiar with what the Tea with the Goddess is, this is a series where I perform tarot readings or discuss personal readings, channeling the goddess Hekate and receiving messages from her. And usually what I do is I perform a live tarot reading here with you guys, and I discuss the insights that come true on a specific theme or a topic. But today I think that I want to do things a little bit different. And the reason is because this week I've been struggling with my inspiration. If you don't know anything about me, I am an artist. I've been to art university. I spent 4 years there, and basically drawing and painting was something that I did ever since I remember. It was my childhood dream to become an artist, and it's a very important part of my life, of my identity. But to be quite honest, for the past few years, I didn't have so much inspiration in creating traditional art in terms of paintings. Of course, I've been expressing my creativity through other mediums, mainly creating tarot and oracle decks for the past 4 years. I've created beautiful spiritual journals for myself. I've created a lot of collage style artwork. I've created handmade books and items for my altar. And for magical workings, but I've been struggling getting back into painting and that whole aspect of myself, and I really do miss it. It's a huge chunk of my personality, identity, as I said, and I really do miss expressing myself through my art, through paint, through this medium in particular. So what we're doing today is actually I'll be performing a tarot reading for myself, asking Hekate for some guidance around this topic of inspiration and my creative endeavors. And I have chosen the Mystical Medleys tarot deck for doing so, because this deck really reminds me of the cartoons that I used to watch growing up. And since I've been painting since I can actually remember, some of my first memories ever are of me coloring and creating pictures. So I thought that it would be a good place to start with something that reminded me of my childhood. And this is a mass market deck. I love it. It's beautiful. It's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. It's published by Liminal 11, and it's just very cool little deck. Previously I've used it for client readings and with my friends on parties, but today we are using it for my personal reading with Hekate. I am adapting one of my Hecate's Temple spreads for this reading today, so it may sound familiar to you. The prompts may sound familiar to you if you follow that practice of the Hecate's Temple guided practice here on the channel. But yeah, I haven't done a personal, sorry, this was my notebook falling down. So what I was saying is that I haven't done a personal reading here forever, what seems forever, and all of the other personal readings that I did for myself on camera are currently unlisted, so you cannot access them. But yeah, it's a bit weird for me to put this out there and be so vulnerable with myself here on the channel. And yeah, but let's see. Hekate, 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 Hekate. Guide me through my creative block, please, Hekate. Okay. Let's see if we are in frame. I think that's better. Okay. The first prompt is, where do I draw inspiration from? And here we have the Knight of Swords. That's very interesting. The Knight of Swords is a very active card of movement, of mind, of thinking, of intellectual pursuits, and of putting what you know into practice, going after your ideas. And so in the context of where do I draw my inspiration from, I think that Hekate is trying to say to me that maybe it's a good idea to take all of my knowledge, my studies, philosophies, all that mental jazz soup that I have absorbed, and actually try and express that and not keep it inside my mind. And why I'm saying that I should try to express that is because this is a very fast moving card. All of the knights in tarot are action oriented. So instead of just keeping to my knowledge and the things that I have learned, it's about time that I put them into, that I act on my knowledge. And because it is an inspiration driven reading, themed reading, in terms of my blockages in the artistic sense, and why I don't feel so inspired to create and draw, is that maybe I've been spending way too much time learning and absorbing information, and I have cluttered my mind with too many things. And maybe I should try and use them as a base for a new art piece. And it's very interesting, the depiction here. We have two butterflies. Butterfly is a symbol of transformation and of change. So maybe I need to switch my approach on how I do art, on where I draw and where I search for inspiration, and just let myself do the thing and see what happens. Maybe that's what this is about. Okay, the second question is, what can I do to channel that inspiration in a productive manner? Six of Swords is another card of movement, of travel, of transition. So What can I do to channel that inspiration in a productive manner? The Six of Swords is also a card of planning and executing according to plan. For me personally, it's about science. In the thought deck, the Six of Swords, the title of this card in the thought deck is Science. And I've always interpreted it as you need to prove something, you need to achieve this mental balance. So I need to look for a way to express this inspiration, those the mental knowledge and all the philosophies, mythology that I have been studying for the past years. And to be quite honest with you, for the past 5 to 6 years, spirituality and my spiritual studies were the sole focus of my whole existence. My work as a reader, I'm constantly trying to learn new things about different spiritual traditions, different spiritual paths, about psychology, about human behavior, uh, about all those intellectual topics that I think that at this point I've gathered so much knowledge, but I think I have lost something in the process, and this something is actually the intuitive creation of just sitting with a black canvas and letting the art piece emerge from within or from the source, because I do um, believe that when an artist creates an art piece, and when it is a good art piece, that it comes directly from the divine, and the artist is just the channeler for that artwork to emerge into the material world. This is my personal beliefs around art and artwork. And I think that what I can do to channel inspiration in a productive manner is actually leave behind that structure and actually take only the knowledge that comes to me naturally, and actually start trusting my instincts and leave the really highly intellectualized and rational part of my brain aside, to put that mentality aside. And guys, I'm not big into astrology, but I'm a Virgo. I like things to be structured. I like there to be a plan of action. I like steps. But sometimes when I create art, I need to throw all of those things aside and just go with the flow. And maybe Hekate here is saying to me that I really should leave behind what I have learned all those years of studying art history, art theory, composition, etc., and just let the image develop by its own, if you will, and I should allow myself to be a channel for the divine or for Hekate herself, because this is the divinity that I work with, that I worship, to just come through this artistic medium, instead of my tarot cards, or instead of me looking for her in all spiritual traditions, studies, in humans, etc. Maybe that's what's happening here. Let's move on. So the third prompt is Hekate, how does that look like for me? Channeling my inspiration. Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is a interesting card. So the whole process for me will look like as Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is water of earth, because all of the queens are water, and pentacles relate to the element of the earth. So this is speaking about emotion and material. So what I was saying, maybe it's about time to get in touch with the physical, with my body, stop pursuing so much of the intellectual stuff, stop hiding inside my mind, and stop spending all of my time in my brain researching, studying, etc., and actually ground myself into my body, do some exercises, some movements, maybe go outside in nature, and then my emotions will start to flow in a better way. So that means that I will be more sensitive to the whole inspiration piece, or maybe she's pointing out to the maybe she's trying to say that I need to look for inspiration outside in nature itself. And maybe this should be my starting point for my next artwork. Or the other option that comes to my mind is I don't know if I have told this story before, but last year we moved into a new apartment. And the previous year, 2024, we spent the whole year renovating this new apartment for me and my partner. And currently, where the room that houses all of my art supplies and function as my art studio is actually the last room to be renovated. This room is a total mess. We didn't have the time or the money to complete the full renovation, so this room was left untouched. And maybe she's saying to me to create a better environment where I can express my creativity, because currently whenever I walk into that room I just get frustrated with the state of the place, and I really don't feel inspired to touch my canvases or my paintbrushes. Maybe she's saying that I need to move my stuff into a space where I feel more in touch with the earth, with myself, where my mind is not overly active by the atmosphere. I'm not irritated and I don't think about all of the things that are wrong, and that I could just be present in the moment and with the materials that I have and just let my intuition flow because of that water aspect. And here we also see a lot of water in this card, in the position of what can I do to channel that inspiration. And here we see in the Six of Swords those cute little bug people. They're moving from a very choppy and unstable water, sailing through very choppy and unstable water towards a water that looks very calm and peaceful. And maybe that's the emotional state that I need to be in when I try to create. So maybe even I should take my things outside and try painting in nature. That's another great idea that's coming to my mind right now. So the next question or prompt is, how can I sustain my passion and energy for creation? And here we have the Queen of Cups, and that's very interesting. The Queen of Cups is water of water. This queen is very nurturing. She is the I see her as the healer archetype in terms of emotional healing, but she can be quite manipulative in the shadowy aspect of the card. So in terms of how can I sustain my passion and energy, maybe I should really start paying attention to my emotions and my intuition more, and not only when I read cards. And this is the other part, because I'm a professional reader. I do readings every day, and they tend to be quite emotionally taxing, one might say. Maybe in order to sustain my passion and energy, I must preserve some of that emotional energy and put it towards my artistic endeavors and really let my intuition guide me and not let my mind tell me stories or try to direct the whole artistic process, but instead just let it flow and let it emerge in its own time, in its own pace. And yeah, I need to be to let myself be guided throughout the whole painting process. This is what I'm getting here so far. Next prompt is Hekate. What is a practical skill that will help me in that endeavor? And here we have the moon. The moon is a card of the unknown, of that animalistic side of us, of shadows, of insecurities, of even lunacy. But for me personally, it's also a time of magic and of great discoveries. So a practical skill that will help me in that endeavor is maybe to try and portray all those things and express all of my fears of the unknown, of the my animalistic side, and try to channel them onto the canvas through painting. Maybe that's a practical skill that will help me because I've done quite a lot of shadow work for myself over the years. I'm very aware of not everything, because I don't believe that any person can know themselves on fully, because then what's the point of life itself? The point of life is to get to know ourselves throughout the course of our human experience here on the planet. But I'm quite aware of my traumas, of my shadows, so maybe I should try and use them as basis for artistic piece or artistic exploration. I think that that will be a very interesting experience, and I haven't done that since my college university years. So I'm sorry for the shake. So maybe that's a practical thing that I can utilize to help me tap into my creativity. Maybe darkness is the solution. Or maybe the other thing that Hekate is saying, I might incorporate art once again into my magical workings. That's another great idea right there. Or I can create a talisman that's a painting. I used to do that when I was a child, a lot. Not a child, but in my teenage years when I first discovered witchcraft and started my path with spirituality. I used to paint and draw those different pictures, and they acted as talismans. They had my intentions in them, and they were truly effective. So maybe I need to go back to that. And I'm saying this because I used to do them on the full moon, and I used to charge those pieces with the moon energy from the full moon. Because back then I started out with Wicca, and in Wicca the full moons are a very big deal. So that's another great idea. Last card. How can I sustain that creative state and be disciplined in my actions so that I can truly turn my inspiration into reality? So what can I do to sustain the creative state and turn my inspirations into actual artwork, tangible artwork, not just keep the idea floating and never actually doing anything with it? Because I do have ideas, but most of the time I spend the majority of my time, as I mentioned, researching, studying, watching lectures, reading books about spirituality. And maybe it's time for me to step back from that pursuit, because currently I feel very secure in my knowledge about the spiritual world, about my spiritual practice, that I may use my time to focus on something else. And my art is that something else for me that I actually want to do more of. So, to sustain that creative state, we have the Empress card here, and that's amazing because the Empress, I've always seen her as Mother Nature, and the mother is the ultimate creator, in my opinion. The mother is that where life comes from. So actually really center myself into the divine feminine energy and embrace that energy within me, because currently I've been spending all of my energy in the mental plane, learning, studying, and the air element is associated with the masculine type of energy, where in fact I think that Hekate is saying here that I need to embrace some of my more feminine qualities, and not just in my work as a reader, but in my artistic creations, in my everyday life. I've been missing the Empress energy quite a lot. And currently I'm in a Judgment High Priestess year personally, and on my birthday I'll be switching to a Empress and the World energy year for me. And my birthday is on this year. It falls right onto the autumn equinox, which is amazing, and the energy for me will definitely shift, because I have found that to be true for myself, that when I calculate my birth date cards of the year, and how I do that, I use my date of birth, the month, and the year that we are actually in, and I conduct them to a number, and I see which major arcana correlate to that number. And on my last birthday, it was the High Priestess and the Judgment card, and I really do felt that energy quite extensively in my life, in my spiritual practice, in my daily life. And I think that this is Hecate is giving me a taste for what is coming for me this next year. And yeah, so how can I sustain that creative state? I really should embrace that Empress energy. That's a very interesting reading. And I really do think that I was called out by Hecate for sure. I didn't realize how much of my time I spent in my mind doing those things. Like, of course, I know what I'm doing day to day, but I didn't think that this was what was blocking me from actually engaging in my artistic path. That's very interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely taking note, and I'll see what's going to become of this. And yeah, I'm actually, just after I finish recording this video, I'm going to take some notes, because there are some things that I just said throughout the reading that I need to record. And yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about putting this on YouTube, but why the hell not? I think that Hecate gave me some good advice, and maybe somebody out there feels the same way, has a similar struggle, and well, this reading might be helpful to them as well. So yeah, I'm putting this on the Tea with the Goddess series this Friday. So yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm the Art Occultist. And this was this week's episode of the Tea with the Goddess. I hope that you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm always glad to hear from you in the comment section down below. So if you've made it this far, let's play a little game. Leave me a little butterfly image in the comments, emoji, or yeah, leave me a butterfly emoji in the comment section if you've made it this far. And yeah, I'll see you next time. And yeah, if you want to support me, I offer personal tarot readings. I'm a deck creator, as I mentioned, and I have a membership space with, I think, 3 tiers right now. So if any of those things are of interest to you, there's links in the description box down below, so please be sure to check them out, and like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the future videos. Thank you once again. I'll see you next week. Take care.